Who do you think are the richest landowners in America? Oil tycoons? Tech billionaires? Maybe even royal families? Well, the truth is far more surprising. Hidden quietly across the vast forests of the United States is a single family that owns more land than many small nations. Over 2.4 million acres. This is the story of the Emmerson family, the largest private landowners in the country, and how they used timber to build one of the most powerful land empires in modern history. To understand how this happened, we first need to understand what timberland really is. Timberland isn't just a forest. It's land that's managed as a long-term economic asset. Trees are planted, grown for decades, harvested, and then replanted. Unlike crops that are ready in months, timber takes 20 to 50 years to mature. And that single factor, time, is what makes timber one of the most patient forms of wealth. The Emmerson family built their entire empire around this very idea. Slow growth, a long-term vision, and total control over the land. The story begins back in the early 19th. Red Emmerson, the patriarch of the family, was born into a modest logging background. This was a time when America was expanding at an incredible rate. Railroads were spreading across the continent, cities were booming, and wood was absolutely essential for everything: homes, railroad ties, ships, and factories. But Red Emmerson understood something that most people simply ignored. Trees grow back. While others saw forests as something to cut down and move on from, he saw them as a renewable source of wealth. In 1941, he founded Sierra Pacific Industries, starting small, with just a few lumber mills in California. His strategy was revolutionary for its time. Instead of selling the land after logging, he kept it and bought more. Instead of trying to maximize short-term profits, he reinvested everything back into the business. And instead of using debt to expand quickly, he focused on outright ownership. This patient, methodical mindset became the foundation of the Emmerson empire. Over the decades, Sierra Pacific Industries quietly expanded across California, Oregon, and Washington, and later into the southern United States. While real estate developers were focused on cities and suburbs, the Emmerson family focused on the forest land that most investors ignored because the returns were just too slow. But slow returns compound massively when you own millions of acres. Today, Sierra Pacific Industries owns more than 2.4 million acres of timberland. This makes the Emmerson family, by a wide margin, the largest private landowners in America. To put that into perspective, that's more land than the entire state of Rhode Island. So, how exactly does timberland make money? Well, first, timber is always in demand. Homes, furniture, paper, packaging, infrastructure, wood never goes out of style. The need for it is constant and global. Second, trees grow even when markets crash. During recessions, wars, and financial crises, trees just keep growing silently, getting bigger and more valuable every day. This makes timberland a natural hedge against inflation and economic collapse. Third, the land itself appreciates in value. Even if you never cut down a single tree, the underlying value of the land tends to rise over time. So, the Emmerson family benefits from three separate layers of wealth creation: timber sales, land appreciation, and industrial processing. Sierra Pacific doesn't just own forests. It owns the sawmills, the processing plants, and the distribution networks. This is called vertical integration, and it allows the family to control everything from pricing and supply to the final quality of the product. It's a closed-loop system of immense power. Another key to their incredible success is their commitment to privacy. Unlike flashy billionaires who court the media, the Emmerson family actively avoids publicity. There's no luxury branding, no public stock listings, and absolutely no media attention. Sierra Pacific is a privately owned company. This means they have no pressure from shareholders, no obsession with quarterly profit reports, and complete freedom to think in terms of decades, not months. Their forests are also managed with long-term sustainability in mind. For every tree they harvest, new trees are planted. This ensures a continuous, self-renewing cycle of production without exhausting the land. While environmental critics often target logging companies, sustainable timberland management is very different from destructive deforestation. The Emmerson model actually proves that conservation and capitalism can coexist, but only when ownership is long-term. Another reason the family holds so much land is strategic patience. When timber prices fall, they simply wait. Trees don't spoil or go bad. They just grow larger and become more valuable. This is the complete opposite of most industries, where inventory loses value over time. For the Emmersons, time is their greatest ally. Over generations, the family has transferred not just land, but a philosophy. Land is power. Land is stability. Land is freedom. While most modern wealth is tied up in volatile stock markets, digital assets, or growth fueled by debt, the Emmerson fortune is rooted in something ancient and tangible: forests. Today, as tech billionaires rise and fall with the whims of the market, the Emmerson land quietly expands. There are no headlines, no noise, just millions of acres growing silently day after day. Their story reveals an uncomfortable truth about how true wealth is built. The biggest fortunes are not always the most visible. They are patient, they are quiet, and they are built on assets that last longer than a human lifetime. In a world that's obsessed with speed, the Emmerson family became one of the most powerful in America by moving slowly. And that, right there, may be the most valuable lesson of all. Thanks for watching. If you found this story as fascinating as I did, make sure to subscribe for more deep dives into the worlds of business and finance. See you in the next video.